Well, look at you sitting there, Julien, enjoying Paris in the evening. How are you? How's Paris? What's new?
Good morning, Max. I'm doing absolutely great. I've been waiting all week to listen to your story, so please don't keep me waiting any longer. What's up with you?
All right. Well, and I've been spending all week stewing on a story. And we've chatted a little bit about this one online. It's a newspaper story. I, in fact, still to this day, physically get a newspaper every day, and I've been getting physical mail notifications, and they look like this. Got a whole
Okay.
there we go. Whole lot of words in there, and telling me they're raising the price and the new weekly rate. And I never think about newspapers, and I always think of everything I pay in terms of monthly is going to be something, and then sometimes they'll have the 10-week rate, which also doesn't really compute for me. And I noticed the number was pretty big, but I really never bothered to do the math. But this one I actually stopped and I read, and I have been paying, it was going from roughly $120 a month to $125 a month for the newspaper delivered to my house, which I was kind of like, oh, wow, that's crazy. That makes no sense at all. They have two online versions of the paper. One of them is horrible. It's just the regular, even when you're a subscriber, when you go into their website, if you will, they don't have any of the New York Times or AP stories or anything like that. It's just what they do. I guess they don't want to pay for it there. And it's very limited in what they have. And most of the stuff I want is not the stuff they write. I want the more national news. And then they have what they call the e-edition. And that is literally a reprint of the paper in digital form. And you click on the article. And I actually like reading that a little bit better, because with that, you get a front page article and you get this much of it, and then the rest of it is 10 pages away that you'll get to eventually. And this way, it actually reads it all the way through. So I actually like that a little better. So suddenly I'm like, $120 a month. So like, okay, I'm going to find out. Hopefully it's a little bit cheaper to get this e-edition. That's fine. We'll just do that. $5 a month for the e-edition. So I have been overpaying by $115 a month for something that I really don't want or value. I know that I believe that the cost of printing is now, it's shared across so many fewer people than it was 30 years ago, that the per subscriber cost, because that's what when you pay for a newspaper, you're paying the delivery costs, and then they make their money off the ads. They're just trying to break even on that. The break even has just gotten so high. I mean, it's almost twice my cable bill. It's more, significantly more than my internet access. So I dropped it like a hot potato. Process to do it was great. Hard to find the phone number. Once I found the phone number, I called them and they were, yeah, here you go. It's $5 a month, or you can keep paying, what's going to $125 a month come, a few weeks from now. Which would you rather do? And duh. So that's the whole story. Meanwhile, yeah, go ahead.
There is so much to unpack here. I didn't think a newspaper story could have so much to unpack, but let me try to pull a few things out of my head first. First, love the LinkedIn post you had out of this, because what I did not expect is so many people reacting to your story. And there was an ongoing theme around people saying, I actually prefer the online version because it keeps my hands clean. Apparently,
Yes.
the ink on the paper is a national issue that I did not even see coming. So, loved reading that one.
So beyond that, to understand historically, it was much worse. And I don't know what they did about 15 years ago. They came up with an improved printing process, so less ink comes off.
That's already the
So
better version that people don't seem to
yes,
like.
yes, and it's still you still get ink.
The other thing here is they don't seem to be complaining about you moving to digital. They're not, from what you're saying, they don't even seem to be trying to keep you on that printed version. And it feels like actually out of $125, they probably have less margin when you pay the full price and when you pay the digital one, because printing is one thing, raw material is one thing, and delivery is one thing. Because on digital, they just put it online. They don't bring it every single morning to your house. And I was doing a quick calculation as you were talking. You're actually only, air quotes here, only paying $4 a day for a journalist to do his job, an editor to review everything, someone to put it together, someone to print it, someone to deliver it. You're paying $4 for it, which is literally nothing. But when you look at the big picture and you start comparing it to, this is what I pay for my cable, this is what I pay for Netflix, this is what I pay for the whatever other services you have out there, it sounds incredibly expensive. But when you boil it down to, I pay $4 for journalists to do their job and bring it to my home every morning, it is absolutely nothing that you're paying here.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. And you brought up something that this has caused me to think a lot about. Why do I want a newspaper? I've got an iPhone. I can do the Apple News. I can do, whatever. There's a million news services. And I realized for me, it's the editing. There are people who decide this is an important story. We're going to put this up front. We're going to invest reporters to go chase this story down. The Mercury is expose some different things, and boy, do they love it when they get one. They'll just hammer you with stories every day for weeks on it. But and somebody is thoughtfully saying this is important. It's not just, well, he looked at something about Ukraine, so I'm going to give him 5 more stories on Ukraine. And that to me is really, really important, to be able to get a thoughtfully curated view of the news.
But we've touched on this a few weeks to a month ago. I can't remember what story actually brought it up. And we've talked about something similar, I think that was last week probably, when I had my issues with Uber Eats. We've killed that industry. We collectively
Yes, absolutely.
are just not willing to pay for something that is absolutely crucial. And the first culprit here, because I refuse to pay for any news simply because there are so many free out there. But the thing is, when you get the free ones, where are they coming from? They are just repeat stories of an actual journalist who made the research, printed something, and other people just took from it, made it their blog or their website or whatever it is. And no one is willing to pay for it. And since we are not even willing to look at ads, we don't even help that economy to survive in any way. So we're killing something that's absolutely crucial, because do you really want to get, in 20 years from now, your news from TikTok? And I'm really hoping that's not where we're going, but it looks like this is exactly where we're going, because we're just not willing to pay the price. And that's really sad that collectively, I'm actually hoping, I had a chat with Stefan Lee a few months back where he was trying to crack the code. So hopefully by the end of 2023, he'll have a brand new solution for making media great again. But it doesn't feel like we're quite there yet. And that's really sad for the entire industry, but that's really sad for human beings.
Yeah, it is. And what, I'm sure it's the same there. You end up with your way to the left and your way to the right news sources, and everybody's just feeding themselves and building their little belief systems around whatever they keep getting fed more and more and more of. Because I'll click on it, and that means there's going to be ads, and that means somebody's making a whole lot of money, and it's a lot cheaper to build that model than it is to especially throw in the printing press, but to do the hard work of actually thoughtfully curating a vision of the world that is attempts to be non-biased.
And I've seen that over the past few years. The local newspaper I had in my town got absorbed by the one from the next town 15 years ago, that then in turn got absorbed by the local one that was covering the entire region, and they disappear one after the other. And either they find a way to remain independent, but there are fewer and fewer of them, or they actually get purchased by billionaires who just inject their own DNA into it and kind of decide what the topics are going to be about. And there is no longer free media out there, or non-well-researched one. So it's terrible, but I'm glad your fingers are now going to remain clean, and your bill is going to go down by $120 a month.
Yeah. Yes. I'm up for all of that.
Well, beautiful story. Very different angle, something we don't have usually. And I really don't know what learnings we can get out of this. We need to rework the entire model here. I think we can put as much brain juice on better CX as we want. At the end of the day, it's not about customer experience. It's about the entire model that needs a new lift.
Wow. This is 2 weeks in a row we've had that, right? Last time with the food delivery. The model was broken, and now the model's broken here. So
a bit discouraging, isn't it? All right, let's try to find a lighter story.
After my therapy session, thank you.
That's how I hook you to come back next week, because you're not going to need more of it.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much for the nice story, Max, and I hope we'll come up with a lighter one next week on the CX Therapy Couch.
All right. Yes. Let's go find some fun stories to tell.
Sounds good. Thank you, Max.
Thanks. Talk to you soon.
Bye.